Hey guys, welcome back to Parkitect. In today's episode, we're going to be venturing off to HappyCo Harbor. So it looks like the votes were pretty high on this one. So we're going to jump into this crazy map. Again, this is like one of the more unique maps out of the campaign. It has this bad decoration thing you have to kind of get over, but the description reads, HappyCo... Oh my gosh, let me start over. HappyCo Amusement Rides Division invites you to redevelop this desolate industrial harbor into a star amusement park. Okay. The company plans to use this site to showcase new attractions and developments, so be sure guests don't get to see all those old industrial structures. And there's some cliff notes here about the things they're not liable for because it's HappyCo. So I have an idea for this one. But first, okay, so 3 coasters in your park with 50 rating of excitement. Okay, that's fine. Have a decoration rating of 80%. Okay, and 600 guests. Alrighty then, that seems pretty straightforward. I didn't know there was a coaster count for this one. I completely forgot about that one. So here we are. I think Silverette made this one to, I think so. The wiki should say, but I think it's Sil did this. So we start with $20,000. That's not bad. I do like the scenery in this map, actually. It's like one of my favorite things about it is this industrial look. These cargo cranes and things like that. So if I go on to decoration rating, this is bad deco. Like, why is this labeled bad deco? We're not even going to be near it. Okay, that's weird. So, yeah, you can see this is all bad, and then this tells you what's causing it. Yeah, there's a lot of bad deco. So I know the cheese way would be to build a wall, but I think I'm going to make an indoor theme park, but with cutaways. So a wall can go here, right? Like up against this to block this out. There's nothing here that's bad deco except for this one little building, but that's fine. That should be not an issue because with how much decorations I pump into these maps, it's gonna counter it, so it won't matter. Can I delete this? Oh, I can delete this. Good. Okay, so this can be deleted. I want to try to incorporate this building into the new building. And have some type of entrance here that says HappyCo Land. That's what we're going to call it. Because why not? And the themes inside will be like Happy Cola, Happy Tire, and maybe other things that HappyCo has made. I'm kind of going to branch off the lore of HappyCo. Starting attractions. Let's see here. We have Carousel, Car Ride, Observation Tower. Okay. Enterprise Go-Karts, Gravitron, Launch Tower, Drop Ride. That's a good one. Twister. Steel Coaster and Wooden. Okay, good. I get to work on a steel. Might as well. I haven't touched one in a long time because I've been building only woodens for the past couple episodes, I think. Let's just, the Steel Coaster would be work well for a indoor park, so we're going to do that. Oh, a mini monorail. See, mini monorail would work too because that could be in a indoor amusement park, right? And then log ride and paddle boats. So paddle boats can only go out here because I don't think, you can't change terrain because you know how cheesy that would be just to lift terrain and block your sight lines and stuff like that. Shops are balloons, cash machine, cotton candy, customizable shop, first aid. Ooh, a shirt stand from Taste of Adventure. Nice. Pizza, soft drinks, all your basic stuff. I will probably still use umbrellas in my park, even though it will be an indoor theme park. But there will be some sections of the roof open because I want you guys to get to see inside it. I don't like the idea of having a removable blueprint roof for some reason. I just feel like it should stay there, so it gives you that imagination of this is an enclosed space. We'll see if it works. I think it will. I'm like 85% positive I can pull it off to make it look nice and to kind of incorporate maybe little themes inside this space. This is a small space, by the way. I mean, I could expand this way and then buy this way. Oh yeah, actually I want to know how much is... Really? Land price is only $6 each. You can easily buy this like now. That's actually convenient. That's funny. Huh. Alrighty then. Okay. Oh, let's go check scenery before we start building. We got space and Steamworks, but do I have the proper Steamworks? Do I have gears? Hey, I have gears. It means I can make AC units on top of the building. Aha. That's always important to me. Yeah, it just seems to be all the things that were in here. And I'll just maybe make I'll make a sci-fi area just for fun. Oh, we have these guys. Okay, good. Wait, do we have the buildings? Oh, we don't have the building props from sci-fi, I see. They're not here. But we don't have the props. Oh no, we have the props. We have some of the props. Okay, we're fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's gonna be an interesting scenario, isn't it? So, yeah, let's just get on building the actual map and see what we go with this indoor theme park / amusement park idea. Okay, let's start off with the first section that needs to be taken care of. Is to find a way to decorate decorate the depot area, because the deliveries building is kind of already pretty nicely built. It's just a simple warehouse, but my thought process was to make some type of ticket area, because I knew from the get-go a indoor theme park idea sounded like the best idea. So this is like the outdoor ticket booth / store. So there's a I think I got rid of the vending machine. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, so it's just the umbrella stand and a information booth. That's all is out there, so nothing really too important. But this is just me trying to figure out the design of the building or the style I'm going for. But I had some references that I was already going to pull from. So type of like 1980s, 1990s mall type buildings, and also kind of doing retro futuristic type of stuff. So I was pulling a lot from Fallout 4. I pulled a lot from like just regular mall stuff, especially from the 90s, honestly, because I'm a 90s kid, so I can easily just pull from there. So that was kind of the objective. So here I'm just doing some interesting structures with these pillars, just making them the diagonal, just making them look interesting. It's just a new design for me, because I'm not really, well, again, I'm always experimenting. I'm trying to experiment every map, if you want to say it like that. Yeah, I'm going to try to experiment. So that's kind of the objective here. So I'm doing that, figuring out where things are going to be and stuff like that, and then go from there. And I built a quick little skylight to match the other ones kind of to the already existing building. And I kind of like how it's like, what's it called, transitioning between one style to another, and so that actually works out really well. And then I had to go figure out basically the layout of the building, and then go from there. So it's a different process building an indoor park versus, let's say, a regular park that I've built. I had to go figure out all my anchor points and figure out where everything was gonna fit, basically, because everything had to be fit in such a good spot. And I also gave myself the extra challenge of making it only on the dry land part and nothing going over the water. I had some ideas, maybe making like an island or something, or maybe a bridge, but that later turned into more of a headache than it was going to be, so I skipped it. I'd like the idea of building these little environments inside the building, so finding ways to hide the wall or decorate the wall, and then figure out how to make these little environments. Nickelodeon Universe is the theme park. It's an indoor theme park. I'm not sure where it was. I didn't search that up. I want to say New Jersey, but I might be 100% wrong on that. But it's somewhere in the United States. I pulled a whole bunch of pictures from that. What was the other indoor theme park I used? It was like called it was somewhere in Las Vegas, something Dome. I forgot the actual name, but I pulled pictures from that. I know that doesn't exist anymore. And then I kind of just use that. And I'm looking at these parks, I'm seeing that there's rides kind of going over each other, there's roller coasters kind of sprawling throughout the layout of the park. There's big, vast plaza areas and sidewalks here and there, so like it's not like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like putting a mall, you're building a theme park inside a mall, and then you're basically condensing a theme park. So just imagine taking Disneyland and turning it into a cube and just jamming it full of stuff. So that's kind of the idea here, and so it kind of turned into that, which was kind of cool. But let me just describe this building. So the front area is just going to be a very simple bathroom stall with a fake facade. The style of theme I'm going for is this type of fantasy made up like kingdom type main street area. It's more like a plaza than a street. But the main inspiration was from Fallout 4's Nuka World. And I had to go into the game really quickly. I walked around Nuka World and I took some reference shots and stuff like that. So I always view HappyCo and Nuka-Cola kind of the same company because they have the same color schemes and they kind of have the same play of words. Nuka-Cola, Happy-Cola kind of works. And so I just kind of pulled that off. And Happy-Cola in the universe of Parkitect uses red and white as their color scheme, so it makes sense. I mean, I know they're making fun of Coca-Cola in this game. Again, the lore in this game is not much, but in the last couple of years I've made up lore. There's actually a campaign map I made for the opening of Booms and Blooms DLC. It's called Firework Follies, and it's a HappyCo versus Joy Inc. And so it's kind of the same idea. I kind of did that there. So I'm doing this here as HappyCo Land. So HappyCo wants you to build a theme park on this land, and it would be appropriate to build a indoor theme park. So it would be one gigantic warehouse of some sort, or a giant mall that they used, and you just build it there. So right now you can see me, I'm just basically working on the layout of the first coaster, which is called, I think, Soda Rush. I think that's what I called it. And I'm figuring out if I want to do a checkerboard detailing on the paths. That changes actually because I felt like too much colors kind of splashed everywhere. The coaster kind of goes outside of the building. That actually later changes and doesn't happen anymore. That was just a way to get guests in because I needed to find a moneymaker. Because I knew going in I was going to spend a lot of money on shapes, trees maybe, rocks. I knew I wanted a rock area of some sort, or like some type of western area, so I had that in mind. Yeah, there was already a lot in my head, and I had to strategically position myself to make a stupid amount of money, and that coaster made a stupid amount. It was a really good coaster, it did really well. Here's a cool technique that I found out, and it's really expensive. Again, that's why I need something to make money. So to cover the walls, to make them a different color on the opposite side without making it all weird on the other side, is using windows as my backdrop. And it worked so well. I'm gonna do this again if I do another like backdrop or something, or maybe like something of that nature. And let me tell you again, there's a lot of windows on every single wall of this map, and it's ridiculous. But it works because now you have this sense of, so the outside is dirty and unclean, but the inside's been painted to look like some type of fake clouds or sky, and it worked out in that case. The steel coaster also got custom supports throughout the entire ride, so that was fun to do. Again, I spent so much money. I actually made, what was at the end of the, well, you'll probably see at the end of the tour like how much money I made. I made a ridiculous amounts, but you can see right now I'm making $1,900 a month, which is great. And I'm researching things, researching more themes, more rides, all that good stuff, and just trying to figure out how to basically theme the rest of the lands to be cohesive with each other, and still keeping that theme of it's a HappyCo styled theme park. So actually every land in this park, there's I think 3, are based off of HappyCo's industries of some sort. I even made up an industry also just to add more realism to it, or more lore. Here right now I'm going to build a Parkitect face because I feel like that's the image of HappyCo. And I haven't built one of these in a while. I haven't built a Parkitect face since, I think, Booms and Blooms, when I made the trailer maps. So just a lot of shape manipulation and figuring out the scale of it, and I felt it was appropriate to have it right smack dab in front here. And I do quite like making custom signs like this. This is like the most fun I have sometimes, is just doing this. So it's just a lot of overlaying cylinders and discs over each other and figure out the distance between, well, the eyes here are weird wonky because I was trying to figure out the distance between them and I was kind of being weird all about it, but I figured it out. It looks like the Parkitect face. Actually, it looks like the old version, not the new version. The new version is a little bit more cartoony. The older version is a little bit more static, like this one, so it kind of made sense to do so. I don't know, it's easier to do it like this. And then it says HappyCo Land. It's actually just straightforward. Even though the entrance is not there, actually, it's actually somewhere else. But it looks good. It looks actually pretty legit. So here's some more custom supporting of the steel coaster. Now you see the little garden area or the little lawn in front? I had a plan for that too. That's later going to be a in and out section for a coaster. So I was already pre-planning steps of what I wanted, but I didn't fully imagine them until they come out later. That's kind of the weird part about all this, is that I had a plan somewhat, but a very, very, very rough idea. So it's always good to have an idea or a plan of some sort. So here's the next coaster. It's going to be a vertical dive coaster, and I felt this was going to be part of my space area. So you already can see it. I already built the carousel cover because I didn't want to show you guys another carousel cover build. I've done so many at this point. So I built a carousel cover, built more of the little village of this little kingdom, and then onto building the vertical drop coaster, and it's going to be themed to like Happy Space. That's the company I made up. Maybe something like that, or Happy Air? No, I think it would be called Happy Space or something. So I knew I wanted to just turn around outside to give some like interest for the park goers to see from the street and from the road. So the coaster just kind of whips around, does I think it's a Immelman into the first turn, and then we go into a regular corkscrew and then dip down into around the bottom and then back to the station. This layout was actually very complicated to kind of squeeze into the space. Again, this is kind of the difficult part, trying to keep everything confined, but I'm surprised I was able to stick everything inside this building and try to keep it pretty low to the ground. I think the chain lift here actually is too high. It actually gets lowered a little bit because I want to make a cover for the chain lift with the roof, kind of make it like a box or something, so that changed. But you can see I'm just fiddling around trying to figure out where my track can go, and especially for this designated area. So it was a challenge and a half, I can tell you that. I literally spent, I think, I want to say 30 minutes deleting track, placing track, deleting track. I also debated on making the track go outside again. Didn't work out because I just felt like once is fine and just leave it at that. So there it is so far. I'm just trying to get back to the station. This is the hard part. Trying to make a realistic returning track. But I also told myself not to be too realistic. So this is actually, I think, the first time in my playthrough that none of these coasters have transfer tracks. None whatsoever. So I kind of didn't want to do that extra work of trying to cram transfer tracks in because I felt like it was just too hard to do, and my brain was just like, nah, I want to try to make this as realistic as possible, but there's caveats to that, right? So I just kind of skipped that and just focused on the more important things like realistic looking layouts maybe, or a realistic version of a indoor theme park. That's kind of the objective to this video was, or the project. So that's kind of the idea. So here I needed to find a way to make a more believable portal. And so I kind of made it smaller by shapes and then outlined it with some red. And that actually worked out because I like the red and the white contrasting colors. It's very HappyCo. It just matches so well. And I like that it just like a tunnel, and it's a cool little way to kind of showcase a coaster, and it works out quite well actually. I quite enjoy it. So I think I custom supported most of this coaster as well. I think I did almost, yeah, that's actually true. All the coasters got custom supported. Yeah, because in the goals I have to do 3 coasters, and so this is number 2, and number 3 happens later. You'll see number 3 eventually, but right now you get to see number 1. So here's some more Windows shenanigans, and this time a black wall because I wanted to make some stars. And this is a fun thing to do too, and quick way to do it, and there you go, there's some stars. And then figure out how to close in the wall here. I knew that I wanted one of the sides of the building to be cut away and the rest of the roof be open so we can get to see inside it. Unfortunately, this map has a lot of rain in it, and so none of the rain gets stuck, but unfortunately I've been selling umbrellas, so it didn't really matter. And as you can see, my money continuing to climb like crazy. I'm making now $3K a month at $87,000. I am not going to sweat with the scenery budget at this point. I'm just going to go full throttle and see what I can cram in here. That's basically what I did. So you can kind of see how the park's kind of growing into something. Over here is the station for the steel coaster, Soda Rush, I think I called it. And it was going to be a normal building, kind of matching some of the village buildings up in front, but then I'm like, no, it needs to be a factory. It needs to be about HappyCo, so I'm going to make a very fake looking factory, very small version of it, and kind of just do that. And it worked out with a brick wall with some those angled roofs and windows, and then I made, I think, 2 smokestacks. Let me see if I remember as I see the time lapse. And then a metal roofing from the steampunk pack, and it just worked out well, and I think it actually made sense to do that. So you just imagine that the little town here works for the factory, and then it kind of just goes in. It's just very whimsical and just silly. Kind of what was the point of this whole endeavor of this project, was to make it very silly and engaging. And again, it's a theme park, so I should try to make at least themed areas, and I was able to cram in 3 areas, so that was fun. And then it kind of grew from there, actually. As I got my momentum, things start happening where your brain starts firing off ideas left and right, and then it comes to the point where you actually run out of space to actually put in ideas. You're like, oh well, now I need to scale back, and then that's where you can kind of just maybe trim the fat a little bit and try to make it a little bit more, I don't know, streamlined, more detailed, better, if you want to call it like that, sure. So kind of was doing that, and then I don't know, doing little fans like that on the building, or actually those are gigantic fans, by the way, so just adding that detail, and then having a custom sign. This is HappyCo, which you can actually grab from the map itself. If you just go into the blueprints, scan over those signs, you can grab them. They're like $10 and easy to do. Place them down, you're done. It's actually a little life hack for you guys. It's actually fun to use those signs. So I'm going to quickly let you go, and we're going to do a quick tour how the park's running and see how things are doing, and then I'll discuss the next plans for like the space area and the areas beyond that. So I'll meet you over there. Okay, welcome to HappyCo Harbor so far. Let's go take a quick tour of basically the whole park and the next plans of the phases and things like that. So at this point, halfway through, this park already has a lot of details in it, and it's already slowing down my game, which is maybe a good thing, but kind of what it is. It is what it is. So some things I worked on off screen. I think I worked on this thing here, cover for the chain lift for the dive coaster, and then some details here on the roofs, and adding some support structures here to kind of suggest that this is actually an enclosed roof. I think I made this awning over here, things like that. So yeah, the park is actually running extremely well, like extremely well. I mean, I'm sitting here with $125,000, so money's not an issue in this park. I can go full detail if I wanted to, but just trying to figure out how to crunch everything down and to kind of make it fit in this box has been the challenge, actually, and trying to make sure that you get to see what's inside it, and that's why I'm trying to make sure that there's cutaways and opening of roofs and stuff like that. So the next thing that needs to be worked on is actually work on this area to kind of dress it up more, add some more stars, maybe on this back wall, maybe add some planets and things. Maybe dress this up a little bit better. I'm not really sure what I can do with it yet, still trying to determine that. And then make a proper station cover for the dive coaster. And then I want to add some more things around the first coaster, so maybe some more, maybe a POI of some sort, maybe, or maybe a flat right here. I'm not 100% sure what I want, but I do know what I want is I'm going to do a vertical spin coaster here, because it would fit perfectly, and it would bump my coaster count to 3, which is the requirement for one of the goals. And I think that would be very beneficial. But we're all going to do something different right now, actually. I'm going to build a quick little soda can on top of this pavilion, because might as well just do it right now. You guys can see what my thought process when I'm working on something with shapes. So let's go, because the soda can here, it has to rain. Ugh, buddy. Here, let's fast forward. I need this rain gone, and then we'll push pause. But the idea is that I'm going to copy that soda can right on the sign and make a like prop or something for this coaster, because I think the coaster's themed to like soda cans and stuff, and or Happy Cola is technically speaking what this is about. I want to try to make a go-kart ride themed to Happy Tire, but we will see if that happens. I don't think it will, but who knows? There's always a chance for something like that to happen. So the soda can could be red. I'm going to keep it at 1 because I don't need to change it much. But I need some gray though to simulate the bottom. So we'll make this a little smaller, and so there's the bottom of the can. Technically speaking, this thing is floating, but from our angle we can't tell, but I can put a pillar there just to solve that issue. I can also make it go higher because then we can know that it's being supported. You see how I do that? Like I have the isometric view is always in what's it called? In thought process, because I want you to know that things are connected instead of just floating. Even though I could hide things because of this angle, which I've already done in some of the other sections of the park. I want this can a little bit taller. And then a simple top. It's actually very simple to kind of do this, but the top here on this sign here is a little bigger, but we can kind of fool. Yeah, that's not bad. Actually, I want to add a little bit of a bulged lip. So like this, but then down. Oh, see, now I can't. See, this is what I do, basically, is the experimentation back and forth from things. That's okay, we can keep this like this. Oh, I know what we do. I'm so silly. No, we make it red, and then we make it a full 0 like this, and then we can, well now it's hidden, so we can move this out. Get rid of that one, move that in, and then do this a little bit. We could cover this up, and we probably should, with another shape just to help with that. Kind of like the idea of having a bulged part, but now I have this issue, so maybe not. See, this is what I'm talking about, like you do the experimentation back and forth. Actually, we'll just make the can even more simpler, just to make our lives a little bit easier. And it's a prop that I can easily maybe try to replicate again and again later on. So usually on top of a can is a soda top, right? Like a little spot where the soda would come from. I don't want to make it too big. I think that's fine. We're also going to do this at a diagonal because I want this facing 45 degrees toward the customers and the guests to kind of see it. But I know there's one more ring here, and I need to figure out what I could do with that. Let's see what props I have in here. There's always something good in here. See, I can use this actually. This tire could be the little hook part, maybe? Just me trying to experiment. Yeah, see, that looks different, right? It's kind of just experimenting with pieces here and there. It's not supposed to be as accurate. It's kind of like a portrayal of it in a way. So I'm not going to really hound myself on that. So, and the last thing I want to do is eyes and a mouth. Oops. Why did it? Oh, I must have clicked on the weird one of my pre-made colored splots. So this one I have to eyeball it. Get it? Eyeball? Sorry. That was really dumb of me, but hey. Dad jokes are always fun. So we're gonna eyeball it there, and then I use a hemisphere for the smile. I've done this on a previous build before. If you played on my custom scenario called HappyCo Bottling Plant, you would know. And so I've done that before. So this one I might have to eyeball it as well, but I want it bigger. Because I'm trying to match how big the smile should be. And because we're at this angle, it looks like a smiling soda can. Actually, I want his eyes not too hidden. I don't know if it's him. It could be a him or her. Yeah, that's a little bit better. Let's bring this up a little bit. And I'm going to do something different as well. I want to add some pupils just to make it feel a little bit more alive than what I've done before. Let's see if I can do this. Because sometimes yeah, see, we have this gap right here. Construction Anarchy would help me with this. But in this case, it's not gonna help me. So maybe not, we'll just leave it blank. But there's a simple soda can. I feel like there's something missing. I'm gonna try to figure this out. So I think I want to do is move all these out and switch out. I want to have that curvature on top, you know, like on the top of the can. It does that weird thing. So maybe if I lower it here and then do this one at a little smaller angle. Or, oh, I know what I can do. I just thought of it. So if I do this, make this red, make that gray, right? Just to make it different. Yeah, maybe that's my problem. Not too big because now I can't go overboard with that. Well, now I have an issue here, so you can kind of tell my experimentation's happening. So I'm trying to make this kind of go inward, but it might not work because of that, so we're going to probably just skip it. Yeah, but that's me trying to, well, it's experimentation. See, I can bring this up higher, right? Actually, I'm not bothered by that. I think I know what I need to add is a rim. Rim on the top of the soda can. This doesn't have a match of Coca-Cola a bottle directly either, so it's just me goofing off. Let's put that on 8. Put this one on 8 as well. Maybe call it good. Yeah, I think I'm gonna call it good. I want to maybe make that red actually. Oops. That's not what I wanted to do. Okay, that looks a little bit better actually. I like the rim. Okay, so I'm happy now. So there you go, there's a soda can. I was gonna do another soda can on top of this, but I feel like having 2 soda cans kind of would clash the area, so I'm not gonna really decorate the twister. But this is the park so far. The plan is to work on that vertical spinning coaster, finish up the space area, and then maybe cross our fingers I can make a Route 66 type of area right here. Like for example, if this was all western here, right? Like if this was all the western stuff, or Route 66 to be accurate actually, and have some mountains and stuff, just to add a third themed area with that vertical spinning coaster here, and then maybe a go-kart underneath here or over there. That could be the plan, but I'm not really sure yet. But at the point, I think this park is coming together. It was a kind of a rough start actually in the beginning, so I'm excited to see what happens next. So let's get on to building. Okay, on to the next phase of building this wonderful theme park. or HappyCo land as I'm going to call it, or I've been calling it, sorry. On to finishing up the black walls of the space area, and kind of just doing the window shenanigans again. I'm just like, this window thing is just crazy. So many pieces, so much lag. So I do warn you, for people who have computers that can do this, or computers that can't do this, warn of caution. Just, it takes up a lot of CPU, and I was losing frames every so often. And so, yeah, even though I got my new graphics card a while ago, it's still, again, this game is CPU bound, so I'm more struggling on my CPU than my graphics card. So regardless, I'm just custom supporting the coaster. I don't think I named this coaster. I can call it like Comet or something. I don't have a name. Maybe you have the name in the comments. You guys can go for it, because I have no name for this coaster. All I know is it's going to be space themed and just a generic space thing I've done before, not really focused on anything. It still beats off of Nuka World. So if you do Google Nuka World or like watch a playthrough of it, there's a space area called Galaxy, what's it called? No, Galactic Zone. And then there's a western area of that park. There's a Nuka World USA land, and then there's Kitty Kingdom. You can kind of see what I pulled from there if you watch any of those videos. I looked at screenshots of the playable map. So that's kind of the objective of all these little areas. And I was just kind of playing off the beat of that and just making HappyCo kind of part of that. So it's goes. The coaster just turned into a very simple color scheme. Teal, blue, and purple supports. They're very complicated colors. They work really well together. And then it was kind of fitting to make some little planets kind of floating in the space. And they're all supported by black pillars, actually, so there's some realism there. But the black pillars kind of blend in. It's actually a really cool effect. So I added some stars, I added some asteroids and stuff, kind of adding some more realism. Just kind of making it where you just kind of go through space. It doesn't make sense that I would go outside, but again, I wanted that interest thing for guests to kind of see from the outside and kind of walk in. Kind of a thing to advertise your park. It's kind of a cool idea. I don't know how realistic that would be for a indoor theme park that's in a more rainy area. I wouldn't know if that's even possible. It's probably a bad idea because all that weather comes in. You would have to find a way to mitigate that. But again, this is Parkitect. It doesn't matter. The rain really doesn't hurt you. It only stops people from riding your rides, and that's it. So I'm not worried about it. It was just again, I want to say it again, but this was a fun project because it was finding ways to cram things into a small space, like I did in Batavia, not Batavia Cay. Oh my gosh, no, it was Biscayne Beach. It's kind of a opposite way of it. So instead of a thin strip of land, this is a bigger piece of land. Well, maybe not actually. It might be less land. It's just more of a square rectangle. But then I forced myself in a limited height because I didn't make any other coaster kind of go over the roof. Interesting. I did a custom scenario like this. It was called Grand Imperial Mall. Kind of an idea of making an indoor park in an abandoned mall. So I encourage you guys to check those out because again, I have so many. How many scenarios do I have? 30 something? Yeah, something like that. So it was kind of fun doing it in vanilla and see if I was able to pull it off, and it seemed to work out pretty well. So on to building some type of structure for the vertical coasters station? I don't know, I just needed to go figure something out. So I'm just going to do my typical sci-fi stuff. Nothing too new on my part, because I didn't want to go new yet. I didn't need to. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to do something. I'll do something comfortable, sci-fi. I'll do it even more generic, then make it like completely a different theme or a new idea or new building technique or design. So I just did it that way. The entrances to the station are actually just bushes or bush archways, which is a cool way to kind of make them look like rubber entrance, like rubber. What are those things called? Rubber accordion type of things, like between. I'm gonna call them bendy buses. So in California we have buses that are actually one bus and plus a trailing section. I call them bendy buses because they bend in the center. So it's kind of like that type of idea. So those are the entrances. So just imagine those things are like docking bays or something. And then I kind of imagine that this building actually has extendable feet that actually land on the planet and then kind of just sit there. So I know that I had to make some type of weird alien landscape later. And so I kind of just did the same beat I've done before any alien landscape, make rocks and add a bigger top to them to make it look abnormal, and then make plants a different color than normally what would be on planet Earth, like green or brown. I make them like bright blue or something. I've done this before. So nothing new on my part, but it's always fun just to make up alien environments because it feels like a freedom to do so because I'm not really focused on making sure it's accurate or realistic. I can just go ham with my imagination and just go from there, and so it's kind of fun to do so. That's part of why I like sci-fi so much. It's based in realism, right? But it has that other side of fantasy where you can go all hams to the wall of random shapes and colors and just all sorts of gribblies. It goes insane for it, and that's why I think I like sci-fi. And it's just, I don't know, just something I've always liked from the get-go. Again, that's probably why I like Star Wars. Big Star Wars fan, so I love it to death at this point. Yeah, you can just see I'm just adding detailing of roofs and borders, shapes, and things, getting a feel of what this little space station or spaceport, maybe a research facility. It could be a research facility, honestly. And then, oh yeah, I did blue rocks this time, like a greenish blue rock. Oh yeah, that's so cool. So I like those colors. Again, I'm trying to do something a little different from my previous stuff because the last sci-fi build was Nova Labs. Yes, so it's been a while, but kind of the same beats, but nothing too crazy. The Gravitron needed a cover, so I felt like a landing pad would make sense with a rocket on it, because that prop is always fun to use. And so there's a landing pad right on top of the Gravitron, kind of interacting with the already existing coaster. Because again, the references I saw for indoor theme parks is that coasters kind of entwine each other and kind of go around the entire park. So Soda Rush does that. This coaster kind of does it too. So it kind of keeping the same idea of like having these coasters kind of spaghetti around each other and then go from there. So it was kind of a hard thing to do and trying to make it cohesive, right? I want to make these themes not clash too harshly on each other and find that good transition. So you might see some transitions that are really good here. I might point them out if I see them quickly enough. But I know I did a diagonal border trick with shapes with the space area to the little village. I'm gonna call it a village right now, but maybe it's like a Soda Kingdom. Oh, Soda Kingdom. There we go. That's the name now. Ha! So quickly did some light shenanigans, and at this point I'm probably gonna do more light shenanigans as I progress through the campaign, because it's always fun to do this. So I just wanted to have some lights kind of animated here for the landing pad, suggesting that it's ready to take off. And there you go. I did the other two later. Don't need to show you that. And then on to the third coaster. And I was very fortunate I got the vertical spinning coaster, I think it's called. Yeah. This is from the DLC Booms and Blooms. No. Taste of Adventure. Yes. I just remembered which one it's from. Taste of Adventure. So I've never built one of these before. So this was going to be a challenge. And so I didn't want to make it too high. And I still had to make that 50 excitement requirement, and that got a little difficult to figure out. So the layout changed a whole bunch of times. I think this layout changes too. This is not the best layout. Actually, I had to make it a little bit longer in sections, add some more dips and stuff, and adding these magnetic trim brakes apparently makes the car spin, so that was a trick I didn't know. And I also knew in the back of my head that as you decorate, the excitement rating goes up because all these coasters in this park should be on amazing, and I wanted to see how that would work, so had to figure it out. And also I had to go dodge the soda popper, not soda popper, it's called Soda Rush, I think. I had to go dodge that too. You can already see the new layout for the Soda Rush. I went into another corkscrew after going around the launch tower into a helix and then back into the brake run. It actually worked out because I knew that at that helix I wanted to make some type of prop or POI, right? So I'm always trying to think 2 steps ahead of me, but sometimes that doesn't always help me in the long run. Sometimes that actually hurts me. So this time it didn't. So in this part, I basically build a go-kart, because I haven't built a go-kart in a while. Actually, no. I haven't built a go-kart yet either. Again, there's a lot of firsts in this episode, isn't there? I built a whole bunch of steel coasters at this point. I built a whole bunch of vertical drop coasters, but now I built a go-kart and a vertical spinning coaster for the first time ever. And there we go. We got ourselves 2 new attractions ready to go. And I think these 2 attractions alone bump my guest count from 400 to 600 quite quickly, and I get it during this time lapse. So you might not see it because I edited that out, but I basically get my guest count at that point. So it was nice and fun to do that and figure that out. But I needed to make sure that coaster met that 50 excitement rating, and it did, and it went from there. So for the new area, so you can see there's the transition. The blue, the big giant blue rectangle that kind of goes on the diagonal at the bottom near the track turns gray actually, but that's the idea of that transition. I wanted to make this hard line separating the space area to the Soda Kingdom, and then make a transition between the Soda Kingdom to Route 66, because I wanted to make a gas station for the go-karts and then name it HappyCo Petroleum, a nod to another scenario of mine, Petroleum Mesa. So that was kind of the point. So now you have the full picture. So you have Happy Cola, you have Happy Space, and then you have Happy Petroleum, which also in turn has Happy Tire, which is also on the map of HappyCo Harbor. So everything is HappyCo. That was kind of the objective here. So I did just find it funny that everything just worked out cohesively. It just worked. So the station is just going to be a simple repair shop for cars, and then I custom supported the entire vertical spinning coaster. Yay, that took another hour of placing shapes. So I wanted to make that look somewhat realistic, but kind of didn't, because I looked at some vertical spinning coaster supports and I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of diagonals like less than 45 degrees. Like there was like 22 degrees and other things like that. I'm like, I can only do 45, so I will at least try to do a diagonal cross beam somewhere, and so I did that too, but it was kind of hard to figure that out. So yeah, this is so far what this area turns into, a little version of Route 66 with some streets and stuff, and some, I don't know, you want to call them Mesa rocks and orange rocks and things like that. Note though, we were quickly panning back and forth from looking at this station. I covered the launch tower with a little like window spot to kind of make it covered. I'm not necessarily in love with it. I'll probably describe more of it in my tour, but I had to do something to cover it, and that's actually the one ride that actually works in the rain, I think, right now. So does the carousel, and everything else kind of shuts down in the rain because they're not covered enough by the roof. So if I did cover the entire building, it would probably be like the best running park in the rain, to be honest. But I want you guys to see it. It's kind of like a little model, so I'm going to leave it open. So let's quickly jumping into the next section where I'm just building more supports. I kind of skip over that because it's a very boring process. Building supports, it's so much fun. If you have the will to do it, good on you. I have the will to do it sometimes, but it's tough to build these supports, especially with vanilla. But I like it. It looks okay, and it kind of matches the rest of my other supports on the coaster, so I'm quite happy with that. So there you go. The next plans is to, well, not next plans. I'm going to talk about, I did the back wall. Also, the backdrop of the building is also more blue windows to kind of match the rest of the Soda Kingdom area. Kind of make those kind of match, but then you have the space area kind of separate. That's why I made that giant border line on the floor to kind of give that sensation of that these are really two distant areas, but yet everything's in the same building. I quickly made a fake street at the bottom, kind of give a, I don't know, more detail, more stuff. I don't know what I would call it. Again, it's just adding details for the sake of details and scenery for the sake of scenery, and just kind of make it more believable. So that was fun to do, just doing some street stuff. And then I think this is coming to the end actually, because this is the bit where I did more like off-screen detailing and stuff like that before I actually finalized. So you'll see the park in its full glory. I encourage you guys to download it, because there's a lot going on in this park. I'll just tell you that. And I think this is actually I want to say the most scenery, besides like Batavia K had a lot of scenery in it too. But yeah, quickly some clouds, and then yeah, I'm gonna let you guys go and meet you over on to the live tour and show you the park. Okay, welcome to HappyCo Harbor, or as I would call it, HappyCo Land is my indoor theme park, which I'm quite surprised this actually works out really well, especially for this scenario. So there's a lot to show you, so I'm going to be somewhat quick about it because it would be just too much to share, but I'm going to show you just the key areas of this park. Right now there's like, I think 600 something guests in the park, so you might see FPS drop, but that's kind of the behavior of every map that I've touched at this point, because I add so much scenery and little cubes and everything like that. So just to recap on the design inspiration, was to do a HappyCo inspired, well, more like it's like a showcase of all the HappyCo things that, or HappyCo products that HappyCo has made, kind of the lore of the game. But I mainly pulled from Nuka World from Fallout 4, because they have, well, Nuka World is basically their Nuka-Cola, and Happy-Cola kind of matches that same line. So I kind of matched the buildings, the type of very whimsical, fantasy-looking buildings, very 50s-esque. And then that's basically, I think that actually the biggest themed area is the Happy-Cola area, so that's why there's a factory roller coaster, and then it goes through here, and then we jump over to the space area, kind of like Happy Space kind of type of thing. Kind of just doing whimsical stuff, nothing really too, well, this looks crazy to be honest, but I'm also trying not to, what's the word? I'm looking for like a, well no, I wanted to go super detailed on this. Again, this is an indoor theme park, but I also wanted to have these to be the themes to be coexist with each other in a way, kind of like blended to each other, regardless. And then the last area was kind of like a Route 66 type of area, kind of like, so I made another company, HappyCo Petroleum, so kind of a nod to Petroleum Mesa, which is a custom scenario that I made about, I want to say 2 years ago. So you guys can go check that out on the workshop. It's actually a pretty cool map. So yeah, there's just a lot going on here. It's really hard to like focus on some things, but the thing I found difficult with this scenario is cramming everything in this one space. I think there's only about 8 attractions in this park from a count. One, actually I can go look at the list. I don't need to count. I can just do this. Where is it? Not that one. This one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I only have 8 attractions in this park, and yet I'm holding at 700 guests, which is nice. And I'm making about $4,300 a month, so I have ridiculous amounts of money, as you can see here, $300,000. Yeah, and the scenery is just over crazy. You can see it from here, like it's maxed to its fullest. And so even with this here, you can tell 100% decoration, 90%, yeah, everything's like 100% here. This park is running at full max, and I'm quite happy with the look of the park. The only thing I have gripe on is the position of this tower, but I don't know, it was kind of like an experiment. Most of this was an experiment of trying to see if I can do an indoor theme park and have you look into it. And I do like that I have this giant cutaway And this cutaway is positioned this way away from the bad decorations over here. So that all works out pretty well. So that's what I'm trying to focus on, trying not to... Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to... My objective was to make the cutaway away from the bad deco. But even with the bad deco, I didn't realize that it goes through glass windows. And especially this SNS vertical spinning coaster, SNS, I can call it the SNS. It still sits at, what, high decoration? It's not amazing, like everything else in the park. So I didn't realize that windows don't really block decoration. I thought it does, but it doesn't. So that makes sense because it is a window. So I kind of like gave myself a challenge by putting windows in, but I wanted windows in because it makes sense for a indoor theme park to have natural light come in. Because you can just imagine that there's skylights on the top of the roof here, but you don't get to see them because we have this cutaway. I was thinking about building a fake roof here just to show you what it would look like with the roof on it, but I kind of got lazy and just didn't want to do it. So I just kind of kept it open. So here's it at night, because I need to show you that too. This was actually harder to decorate at night than I thought. I have this issue of not lighting this area. I might do something, fix it. I should fix it, actually. I should maybe just add torches here like this, maybe. Yeah, maybe I just do this, because that just makes it kind of work a little bit better. Okay, that helps, actually. Okay, so, yeah. I custom supported all the coasters, which was a mad thing to do, especially on vanilla. And that took up the most shapes I've ever done in this game, or in this map so far. I've done that many shapes. Yeah, this park is just packed full of detail. I encourage you all to go look up on the workshop and kind of take a good, probably an hour to kind of look at all the little details and things like that. So let's quickly go on to the main menu. I accidentally was working on it, what was it, last night? I was working on it last night and I accidentally forgot to record the animation of what trophy you get. So I'll just show you what the trophy you get at the end, because I wasn't paying attention when I was logging off for the night and I was like, oh, oof. So the thing that pops down is actually you get the cargo crane as a trophy, and then the boat appears and then 3 more of that appear. So at this point we only get 2 scenarios, so we don't get a new scenario after unlocking this one. I'm assuming we get a new one if we unlock one of these. So at this point I'm not really sure which scenario I want. Highway Hijinks or Honey Hills. I kind of want to lean to Highway Hijinks, so I want to make that Legoland type of idea. Kind of want to try it because it kind of fits, because there's a highway there. I can make some type of, well, theme park, and then the highway kind of supports it. I don't know, it's kind of my idea. And it seems like an easier one to do. It's 550, 80% overall park rating, 250 guests in your park, versus this one. I was a 600, right? And three coasters. Okay, what's Honey Hills? 400 guests, no loan debt. Oh, no loan debt. Profitability of 2,000. Well, I can pull that off. I'm not sure which one. No, I want to do Honey Hill. I want to do Highway Hijinks. I think I want to do a Legoland-esque type of map. Kind of try to see if I can imitate Lego in vanilla Parkitect. That would be actually fun. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and this has been a wild ride so far. And we're going to continue to do all the scenarios. I'm going to continue working on those, and I want to thank my Patreons for the continued support. If you want to support me on Patreon, you can. There will be a link in the description below. I really need to work better on my Patreon stuff, but life is kind of going crazy, but it is what it is. So I want to thank you guys again for watching. I will catch you guys in the next episode. Bye.